Well, they're at it again. They are attacking my God Queen, Rachel Zegler. And I will not have my God Queen questioned or challenged. Rachel Zegler, of course, the star of the wonderful Disney live-action remake of Snow White. She plays the titular role of Snow White, a girl born in the winter, thus called Snow White. Of course, Rachel Zegler is part Colombian. Yes. So the right wing got all crazy because they couldn't stand the, you know what's coming next, woke DEI hire that was Rachel Zegler to play what was classically known as a white woman. In fact, the term Snow White was kind of a racist term in a lot of parts of the world. When you say things like Snow White, it's about a white person who is pure as blah, 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 right? Antiquated concepts. The movie in 1937, I believe, when it came out, it was basically, the prince saves her. It's very patriarchal. It's extremely dated and really antiquated, right? And Rachel Zegler said this. She said, all of her press conference stuff that she thought it was weird. It's weird that you would have a man constantly, in 2025, you would tell the same tale about a man saving a woman. It's a very old trope, and it's been around forever, and it's kind of lame at this point, right? We've seen it done a million times. So Rachel Zegler, though, is now getting attacked by, I shit you not, Sean Ono Lennon. Now, if you don't know who Sean Lennon is, I'll give you three guesses. He's John Lennon's son. Okay, I won't give you any guesses. He's John Lennon and Yoko Ono's son. Yoko Ono, experimental artist Yoko Ono, who has absolutely no talent on her own if she wasn't taking semen from a former Beatle. She was always kind of a sketchy ass person. She's always been sort of this I'm not attacking her. She didn't attack Rachel Zegler, but her dumb, untalented son is. Look up Sean Lennon's You Gotta Know Your Chicken. When he was trying to be a musician, he still is, and he sucks. He's awful. And he does a lot. And when people suck in art, when they can just dick around all the time and don't have to have it because they're not working class, they grew up rich and they never had a job in their lives, and they can just dick around with music. When they don't hit on their 3-chord progression stuff like their dad did, like John Lennon did, like the Beatles did, they call themselves experimental musicians, experimental artists. And that's what he apparently has been, is. I don't really care because I don't like I've never liked Sean Lennon. I always thought he was an obnoxious prick. This Nepo baby fuck of a human being actually said about Rachel Zegler that he said, while the online hate for her I'm paraphrasing, is too much, you could see that the box office was going to fail because the movie was going to fail because of her entitled attitude. Russell Brand, who was a heroin junkie who had multiple homosexual encounters, and now the right wing has just been like, hey, we fuck it, you're cool. All the Puff Daddy connections, Russell Brand in his Puff Daddy days, which wasn't that long ago. Russell Brand, who made his entire career being androgynous, wearing eyeliner and puffing his hair up, like transgender anyone? I mean, made his whole being a feminine goth in England. He called her hoity. Russell Brand, who charged people money to come stretch with him. Look that scandal up. He and some other fucking hack Indian guru wannabe fucking person show up at they charge people like $7,000 to come. And the more you paid, the closer you could be to Russell Brand while he stretched. Like cult leader shit, right? Like insanity. Russell fucking Brand. Give me a fucking break. And he and Sean Lennon, of course, attacked. The producer of Snow White attacked Rachel Zegler as well because of her Gaza tweets about how there's a genocide going on of the Palestinian people and it needs to stop. Well, of course, the producer was Jewish and he flew in and talked to her. And then that kid's son, I don't remember his name, Platt. I think his last name is Platt. That son wrote this big, long bullshit article about how Rachel Zegler was hurting tens of thousands of people that worked on Snow White, and that she hurt the box office. She was paid millions of dollars to promote the movie in a positive way, and blah, blah, all this bullshit. And now all of these people are blaming the poor box office. All the usual suspects online are blaming the poor box office on Rachel Zegler. Why are they doing that? First of all, Why the fuck are all these people so concerned, Sean Lennon so concerned about Disney's profits? A multinational corporation worth billions of dollars, and you're concerned that their profits, that they're just not making enough money because of their entitled star? A woman who starred in the movie and is talking about the movie that she is in, but she's not allowed to discuss it because she needs to know her fucking place. You call her hoity. You call her entitled. What are you really saying? Like, I'll tell you what they're saying. It's like the uppity N-word shit. You know, when somebody says, well, that they should know their place, or they're acting a little above their blah, 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 or they're acting uppity. That's what they are doing to Rachel Zegler. A, because she's Colombian, and B, because she's not a Zionist piece of shit. Like her co-star, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot, who can't act, and is a Zionist Jew from Israel who served in the IDF, who has killed Palestinians and is proud of it, and is only concerned about Zionism and the Israeli fucking hostages. She's a big piece of shit. This is the one that did, the Imagine song during COVID, like that cringy shit. Anyway, but nobody's blaming Gal Gadot. Most of the world's religion, the biggest religion in the world is dun dun dun, right? You know what it is. Do I even need to tell you? Islam is the biggest religion in the world, right? It has more members. Do you think maybe Gal Gadot, being a Zionist, might have had something to do with the poor box office? Do you think that might have had something to do with it? Nope. Nobody called Gal Gadot a fucking genocidal psychopath. Nobody did that, but they went after a half Colombian girl because she said that we're in 2023, whenever that movie was starting to be made, and she said it's an antiquated notion of having a man save a woman. It's like it parallels the white savior narrative. The black kid who's struggling, or the black woman who's struggling, and the white person comes in and saves her. This still happens today in movies. The patriarchal bullshit that we grew up with is slowly being peeled away as we become more technologically advanced and we progress. And these people, Sean Lennon, I can't tell you the lack of talent this Nepo baby fuck has. Compared to Zegler, who actually is a fantastic singer and is a good actress. And frankly, this too all will just pass over and they'll be fine. Oh, they'll keep attacking her, these fucking right-wing degenerate losers who are using her as a way of stoking anger in their right-wing MAGA communities. I don't know about Sean Lennon. I don't fucking care what his politics are. He said some shit a few months back. I don't give a fuck what happens to Sean Lennon either way, and I don't know why anybody else would. But for him to come out, by the way, he's like half Japanese, correct? Or whatever the fuck Yoko Ono is. Like he doesn't see the racist backlash online because she's not white. You think that's okay? So you attack her for being entitled? Sean Lennon, who has never worked a day in his life and has no talent, only a last name, talking about entitled. A guy that got on television shows to perform his horrible music, got attention that he didn't deserve. And that to me is an entitlement. He thought he was entitled to, my dad was a genius. My dad was a really good musician. So aren't I entitled to go perform on late night talk shows? And aren't I entitled to go out and tour based entirely on my last name? I mean, this is hilarious to me. And they keep attacking Rachel Zegler. It just keeps coming. Nobody should, be concerned with Disney's financial success. Nobody. Not anyone. No one should give a fuck. I mean, unless you're an accountant for fucking Disney. Unless you work for Disney. Why the fuck? But that seems to be a lot of this too. Well, all these, when the kid of the producer said all of the tens of thousands of people who worked on Snow White, she's disrespecting. No, what you're saying is, shut up about talking about genocide in Gaza. Knock it off. And she comes off as young, and she comes off as kind of arrogant, and she should. Because we need more Rachel Zeglers and less Gal Gadots. We need more of those we need Disney to keep doing this. By the way, I've said this in many other venues, Disney only does this shit because this is the future. They know this is what's going to make them money. It didn't work this time, and it didn't work. Where are all the people talking about Mustafa? Mustafa was a failure too. financially. Nobody's talking about that. They only want to talk about Rachel Zegler, and I wonder why. Because it could do that we're in an anti-immigrant stance now in the West, and that she's perceived as an immigrant even though she's not, only because she was half Colombian. She's part Colombian. Is it to do with that she's a girl and we're moving into the trad wife thing with the J.D. Vances of the world and telling you that you need to stay home and have more children and you don't have the right to choose an abortion, or you don't have the right to choose what you want to do with your own body? It's your body, their choice. Is that why? Is it her Gaza stance? I think it's all of the above for different people. And I think people look at her and have a misconception. They look at her and they say, well, she should just be glad that she has that shit. Never would you say that to a man. Never would you say that to a white male. No one should. Would anyone ever say that to Donald Trump? Or Jeff Bezos? Or fucking Elon Musk? Or would they ever? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't say it to even actors. They wouldn't say it to fucking anybody. A white male actor, they wouldn't say anything. If he said something about patriarchy being weird, or if he said something about Gaza being necessary, a horrible genocide, and it's necessary that we actually talk about it and tweet about it and show empathy and sympathy for 2 million people being displaced out of their homes. Not since the Nakba. It's a fucking genocide. Or they pissed off that she's just not grateful enough. You need to know your place and just be grateful. What did Laura Ingraham say to LeBron James? Shut up and dribble. It feels like that. Don't talk about anything. Don't come out as a black man and talk about Trayvon Martin. You're half Colombian. You shouldn't even be playing Snow White, according to these fucking morons. And they all create this racial anger about it. And nobody just calls them what they are, bigots. Everybody in America is a racist. You grew up in America, you have racial stereotypes that you have seen on television, that you have read in books, that you've seen in advertising, that you've seen on the news, you've seen online, whatever. You have racial stereotypes in your head, and we all know them. So to work through that, I love the book White Fragility because it fucking shows how fucking lame white people are and how fragile they really are. Every time Matt Walsh does something, am I a racist? And I know he interviewed Robin DiAngelo in that. I think he paid to play. But anyway, it doesn't matter because her point is it makes right-wingers sick because they don't want to talk about race. They're banning anything to do with race throughout the country. Why are they doing that? Oh, because white people are now oppressed? You're 70% of the population, not fucking oppressed. They're doing it because they're bigots. They don't want diversity. They want to look around and see white faces. That's what they want. And for Sean Lennon I don't believe Sean Lennon's a racist or a bigot. I think Sean Lennon is a fucking entitled, rich kid, nepo fuck, who has no real discernible talent and thinks that people like Rachel Zegler should know her place. She shouldn't act entitled. What does that mean she's entitled? Because she said what she said about Snow White or what she said about Gaza or what is exactly the entitlement there? That she was in the fucking movie. She was told, and now because the Disney bosses keep writing bad movies and they keep making bad CGI and they keep letting these bad ideas leak out. We've known about Snow White for 2 years? Year and a half? From the old set photos? And then she comes out and talked about how it's going to be different. That's the movie. Would it have changed the movie if she didn't talk about it? Would people have gone to it and saw, oh my gosh, this is about a woman who's taking over a leadership position in her life and she's control. And the prince is and would they have been upset then? Would people have gone and saw it more? And I don't think so. I think people are burned out with Disney movies. And these people are like, well, the box office means nothing anymore. Box office means nothing with streaming services. Disney, and by the way, to take your family of 4 to a movie, it's actually cheaper to have Disney Plus for 3 months than go out to one movie. So they'll just wait till it comes to streaming. It's not a must-see event. There was no major stars in it. But no, it's Rachel Zegler's fault. It's only her fault because she's too woke. and she's Colombian. And she should just be grateful for where she is. Fuck Sean Lennon. Fuck Russell Brand, and fuck every right-wing moron who thinks that. They're all stupid and they're fucking and are dishonest intellectually. Have a good day.